Good evening. You're tuned in to Emo Nightly News every moment online. In tonight's news headlines, NCCU announces 2026 hybrid annual general meeting. Convent High students honored for contribution to the arts in Dominica. FCCA launches 2026 essay and poster competition for Dominican students. Grenada launches Grenada in Bloom Flower and Garden Festival in London. Young mother killed in Marigot as St. Lucia grapples with rising violence. Protesters set Ebola treatment center on fire in the Democratic Republic of Congo. President Trump announces 5,000 additional U.S. troops for Poland amid Europe deployment confusion. An exciting weekend of cricket ahead in NCCU DCA Premier League. Details of these stories and more coming up next. Stay with us.
Tico, that's $800. Cash or card?
When cash is low, Tico is still ready.
Always card, Chalo. Would you like a copy of the receipt?
No, Chalo. NBD already sent me the alert and I'll see it on Mo Banking later. That is it. From card to farm. Power your business with the NBD Small Business Credit Card. Your partner, your bank.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and this is the news broadcast for the 22nd of May, 2026. In local news this evening, education and training were touted as some of the most important activities of any trade union by Public Services International, PSI, Sub-Regional Secretary Sonia Masaya. She was addressing the 13th Biennial Conference of the Dominica Public Service Union, PSU.
What are your trade union education and training priorities in the DPSU? Trade union education and training. So your trade union education and training is critical if you're talking about organizing and if you're talking about investing in yourselves. If individual representatives, the workplace representatives or delegates, don't have those skills, that knowledge and those attitudes, no wonder if the toilet in the post office ain't working, somebody runs upstairs to have the general secretary deal with it. That's what you're paying general secretary to do. Why shouldn't a shop steward or a delegate be able to handle those immediate workplace issues and leave the time for your executive to be focusing on policy and strategy?
Masaya stated that union executives and members must be capable of handling minor issues internally, rather than relying solely on the president or general secretary.
And that strength is not only to be exercised by the president or the general secretary, but by the executive members. We are in that situation where executive members of unions, and I'm not only talking about the DPSU, executive members of unions must see themselves as just not only coming to the union to sit down and take notes and go through minutes. You have to put your hand to the wheel too. So there's so many issues that are affecting our members, that our leadership at all levels, and that includes shop stewards and delegates as well, have to be taking the leadership on certain issues. It's not only for the president or the general secretary to be taking on those roles.
A seasoned labor expert herself, Messiah stressed that union work is highly collaborative, noting that every member must continually build their knowledge and skills.
The members are the union, the lifeblood, the heart, the very union itself. When you constantly build your skills, your knowledge, and your attitudes, you and your colleagues are building a strong and powerful organization that works together to fight for and advance workers' rights. This is how everyone benefits. This is how everyone wins. You are your priority investment. And you are amongst the ones who are here to create the change, to be the change. You, sisters and brothers, can be the heralds of change, the messengers of hope. You and your colleagues are the union. You matter. You must step up. You must put your collective power at work so that you will be making the positive difference in the lives of your families, your friends, and other members of the population.
The Dominica Hospitals Authority has expressed gratitude to the 11th European Development Fund, EDF, Technical Capacity Enhancement Program for the donation of 160 units of erythropoietin to the dialysis unit of the Dominica China Friendship Hospital on behalf of the Dominica Dialysis Association. The authority says the vital contribution will significantly support and improve patient care within the dialysis unit, benefiting individuals undergoing treatment at the facility.
On behalf of the management and staff of the Dominica Hospitals Authority, the patients of dialysis unit, we would like to say a very hearty thank you to the EU Development Fund for donating these 160 EPOGEN to our patients. This goes a long way. And on their behalf, I would like to say thank you, and it is much appreciated.
We are very pleased to present to the dialysis unit 160 units of EPOGEN. And I hope this donation will be a great help and help them get better as they try to improve their health condition and the whole dialysis process. So there you go, Mr. Blaise.
Thank you very much for this donation. It is it's very timely, and it will go a long way to helping us with our illness.
The National Cooperative Credit Union Limited, NCCU, has announced that its 16th Annual General Meeting, AGM, will be held on Wednesday, June 3, 2026, at the Goodwill Parish Hall from 5:30 p.m. The AGM will give members the opportunity to receive updates on the credit union's performance, strategic direction, and other important matters. Members will also exercise their democratic right to participate in discussions and vote on issues relating to the governance of the society, including the election of the board of directors.
The National Cooperative Credit Union has announced the date of its 16th annual general meeting and opened registration for online attendance. The AGM is scheduled for June 3rd at the Goodwill Parish Hall from 5:30 p.m. The meeting will provide members with an opportunity to receive updates on the credit union's performance, strategic direction, and other key matters. Members will also exercise their democratic right as member owners to participate in discussions and vote.
The NCCU further explained why voting is essential and encourages members to register to do so remotely.
Voting at the AGM is an important member right that enables members to influence the society's governance, including the election of the board of directors. Members who are unable to attend in person are encouraged to participate remotely. The deadline to register for online attendance is 11:59 p.m. on June 2nd. All AGM-related documents, including the annual report and the online registration form, are available on NCCU's website.
The Florida Caribbean Cruise Association, FCCA, in collaboration with the Discover Dominica Authority, is inviting students across Dominica to participate in the 2026 FCCA Foundation Children's Essay and Poster Competition. The initiative aims to promote sustainable tourism awareness, environmental responsibility, and youth creativity, while encouraging students to learn more about the cruise tourism industry and marine conservation. The essay competition is themed, "What are a few unique things a cruise passenger can enjoy only when visiting my destination?" While the poster competition carries the theme, "Ocean Protection Starts With Us." The competition is open to 2 age categories: students 12 years and under, and students ages 13 to 16. Prizes include laptops, touchscreen devices, and cash awards of up to $3,000 for participating schools. Students are required to submit entries through their schools to the Discover Dominica Authority by Friday, October 23, 2026. Winners will be announced in December 2026. The Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training, and National Excellence has announced that the 2026 Grade 6 National Assessment will be held on Thursday, May 28 and Friday, May 29 across 62 centers island-wide.
The Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training, and National Excellence wishes to inform the public that the annual Grade 6 National Assessment will be administered on Thursday, May 28th and Friday, May 29th, 2026. This year, a total of 792 candidates comprising of 380 girls and 412 boys are registered to take the examinations across 62 designated centers island-wide. The assessments are scheduled to commence promptly at 7:45 a.m. each day. All examinations will be conducted in a paper-based format structured as follows. Thursday, May 28th, Language Arts and Social Sciences Multiple Choice and Composition. Friday, May 29th, Mathematics Multiple Choice and Science and Technology Multiple Choice. The Ministry of Education, Human Resource Planning, Vocational Training, and National Excellence extends its best wishes to all candidates for a successful and rewarding examination performance.
EmoNews joins the ministry in extending best wishes to all candidates for a successful and rewarding examination performance. Also in local news this evening, Mr. Nigel Lawrence, President of the Dominica Council of Aging, DCA, spoke passionately at the organization's 30th Annual General Meeting, AGM, emphasizing that a significant amount of Dominica's wealth is owned by older persons. Thus, older persons cannot be pushed aside but must be considered in any development plans of the country.
Accept this thinking that we are useless. We cannot be seen as persons who have made their pile and should be cast aside. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the population of Dominica, over 70% of the wealth of this country is owned by persons who are considered older persons. And it is impossible for us to think that because we are considered retirees, that we should be considered as rejects. Everyone knows that we have a stake in everything that is being done. We, the Council on Aging, will start to continue to push that there should be no development taking place without we being consulted. And it doesn't have to be development by just the government, because it's not only the government does development, private people and private sector persons engage in development.
He added that the DCA will continue to fight for the rights of the elderly.
We will never relent. We will never drift away from the original sentiments of this organization, and that is to advocate on behalf of older persons. As older persons, I want you to know that we have rights. We have rights as older persons because we are part of this populace.
Meanwhile, Dr. Cassandra Williams, Minister of State in the Ministry of Health with special responsibility for the elderly, honored the seniors for their significant contributions to their families, communities, and country.
To the teachers who shaped minds and generations, to the doctors, nurses, and caregivers who care for the sick, to public officers and tradesmen, fisherfolk, vendors, entrepreneurs, community leaders, homemakers, who carried Dominica through some of its most difficult moments and whose labor built the Dominica we know today. We honor you, we thank you, and we celebrate you. As we gather here today, however, our celebration is also accompanied by reflection and remembrance. Over the past year, we have lost cherished members of our senior community, individuals whose lives left lasting marks on families, villages, churches, and communities across Dominica. Some of those individuals were deeply connected to the work of the Dominica Council on Aging.
The minister commended the work of the DOC for the past 30 years.
For 30 years, the Dominica Council on Aging has been a voice for those whose voices may seem to have faded amidst the noise around them and are sometimes overlooked. You have stood beside our seniors through moments of joy and moments of vulnerability. You have reminded our nation that aging is not a burden, but a blessing, not a decline in birth, but a continuation of wisdom, resilience, and contribution. Today, we salute every volunteer, caregiver, board member, social worker, community advocate, and partner who has poured time, energy, and heart into this noble mission. Your commitment has touched lives in ways that statistics can never fully measure, and in ways that we can never show enough gratitude for.
Honorable Williams also paid homage to all who have supported the organization over the past 30 years.
But above all, today belongs to our seniors, to the mothers and fathers who sacrificed so their children could dream bigger than they could ever do, who made every penny stretch further than we do with what we have today, to the farmers who rose before sunrise and worked the land under the chalet shore,
and over $234,000 spent for the rehabilitation of the Fonkole Fisheries facility. Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Honorable Julan Defoe, says that the facility will improve the standard of service presented to the community.
Knowing how the area was and seeing that this is an environment that is going to improve significantly the food safety, the standard of how we present service to our Dominican public. And today, I am sure operations will begin, and as soon as this handing over is over, I have heard already there are fishermen with their fish ready to come. So we are hoping that the government has taken much scarce resources and invested into this area. So we're hoping not to see too many of the old tables, by the roadside, diminishing the purpose for which we have given this facility. Okay, so when we pass, we would like to see people packed in a strategic areas where they do not obstruct traffic and come into the facility. But for the facility to be functional, the fishers themselves have to encourage, their patrons to come into the facility, and they themselves do not position their tables in the door where the people are supposed to pass.
According to the minister, additional services will be provided at the site.
Additional services will be offered. As you know, in Roseau, they have ice making capacity, but it is the belief of the government that we should provide redundancy at every fish landing site. So while they can, at this moment, purchase their ice from Roseau, but we will invest in the new financial year in perhaps a small 1-ton machine to be located at the site. So in case there are odd days when the fishers are not able to go to Roseau, or if perhaps the machine is done for maintenance, that these fishers' livelihoods will not be stopped. They can produce their own ice and continue their livelihood.
Chairman of the Fokole Fisheries Cooperative, Derrickson Charles, expressed gratitude on behalf of all those who will make use of the facility.
We thank the World Bank for the facility because they play a major role in the financing of it, and the government of Dominica. We're looking forward for this facility to really enhance our product, like the product we sell to the public. It will be much more sanitized. I think the vendors will realize they even have packing and those things they didn't have before. So again, I'll say thank you to everybody that play a part in it, and we having it today. And as fishermen and the community of Fokole, thank you, and we appreciate it.
One fisherman shared his experience of fishing in the area.
Well, growing up, I used to watch the elders. I used to have my grandfather, both grandfathers was fishermen. So I used to always pass by the bay, watch what they're doing, and then when I come of age, I decide to join the movements. Going outside is fun, it's very risky, but we love doing our job. Well, it was kind of unpleasant to certain people. They used to complain about being closer to the road, but right now we're inside. Our fish is well protected from the elements, the sun, better storage, it's plenty better.
Said that the facility is outfitted with an administrative area, washroom facility, and storage areas with lockers. The plumbing and sanitation system and shutter doors were also installed. The official handover ceremony of the Fokole Fisheries facility took place this morning. The project was completed by Coriserve Inc. And finally, in local news, students from the Convent High School, Mia Joseph, Osamari Hunter, Zina Capitolin, and Haley Bednew were recognized on Thursday for their contribution to the preservation of the arts in Dominica. Severin Mackenzie of the Alwyn Bully Foundation and Mark Services explains.
On the 2nd of May, just a few weeks ago, 4 students of the Convent High School graced us with their presence and participated in the poetry and jazz cocktail at Jungle Bay Resort. And their performances were outstanding, every single one of them. And we thought that it was necessary that we recognize the efforts of the students by presenting them with some certificates and an honorarium of appreciation. Goldie Foundation Inc., Mac Services Inc., Jungle Bay, Dominica, and the Eoli Blanc family proudly present to and in heartfelt recognition of our outstanding contribution to the Poetry and Jazz Cocktail held on May 2nd, 2026. Your captivating performance of poetry greatly honored the legacy of Eoli Blanc and enriched the cultural experience at Jungle Bay, Dominica.
The budding creatives shared their experiences with EmoNews in exclusive interviews, reflecting on their participation and paying tribute to the man of the hour.
I decided to take part because I love representing Convent High School. It exhilarates me, and being in fourth form is normally your final year to participate in stuff because CSEC is in fifth form. So I really want to take on this job, not only for the school, but to better myself, get involved in things that I haven't done before. Poetry is really nice. I've been participating in the ECCB poetry competition this year, and Eoli Blanc's poetry, astounding. I loved it. Loved every poem. My favorite, well, I'm going to be biased, but my favorite was To the Ambitious Youth. That was a poem that I recited. As it says in the title, it's To the Ambitious Youth, and I'm part of that youth, so it kind of resonated. It has, because I never knew he did poetry, and I think it's because I never knew. I think his book just came out. It's beneficial for children to be engaged in poetry because it is a dying. Bring it back alive. We need our youth to be a part of it.
Well, I really like poetry. I find it very interesting. His poems, because I like how he speaks about his life and what's going on around him. I knew about how he has the road named after him. I found it was a very interesting project and something fun and entertaining that I would enjoy doing. I don't think it is beneficial for children to be exposed to poetry because poetry is such an interesting way to write, and I feel like with children learning it, they can understand things in a different way. My favorite poem was The Storm because I said it, and I also find it's such a short poem, but it's so deep and has so many feelings in it. Well, to me, especially sadness, especially the ending lines, I feel like it just made you reminisce, especially to times like Maria. After Maria, how you felt after such a big storm and then the end result.
I decided to participate because I thought it would be an opportunity for me to embrace how I stepped forward and do things in terms of bringing up my confidence. I would obviously say the ones that I read, especially What Would You Do? Because I had to do expressions and be like, what would you do? I knew he was the first premier of Dominica. Just found out more about him and him being a poet and his past life. I think that poetry is another way of art and a way of expressing yourself through not just words, but in ways that rhyme and just make sense to you and you only.
I decided to participate because I felt like it would be a good opportunity and also a new experience. My favorite poem would be the one that I read, which was The Little It, because it talks about real world problems, and I got a better understanding of like how things were back in the days.
Did you get to choose your poems or were they assigned to you?
We got to choose them. I did through primary school social studies, and we have a highway named after him. I think it's beneficial because it helps with critical thinking and understanding, because in poetry you may see something but it also has like a deeper understanding, like a deeper meaning, so it helps work our brains more.
Mackenzie said that although many schools in the Roseau catchment area were invited to participate, only the Convent High School responded positively. Teacher in charge of the Convent High School Literacy Club, Miss Sherry Jeffrey, was also presented with a token of appreciation. Members of the Alwyn Bully Foundation, along with producers and actors from the recently staged play named Strake, were present for the presentation. Poems from E.O. Libla's book Fragments of the Dawn will be heard tomorrow, Saturday 23 May, at Jazz and Poetry with a Touch of Bouillon at the auditorium of the Dominica China Friendship Hospital at 7 p.m. And that's all for local news this evening. Stay tuned for regional news coming up next.
Across our Caribbean, we're going digital, working smarter and living safer online.
In Dominica, we don't fall for fake prices. We check before we click.
In Grenada, we verify before we share, keeping our hard-earned money safe from hackers.
In St. Lucia, we report cyberbullying, protecting our children and each other.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we report scams fast, protecting our neighbors and our communities.
Together, we're building a cyber-smart Caribbean, keeping our people and our data safe, standing up to scams and cybercrime. We stay connected, but always alert. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project. Stay smart, stay safe. Think Card TP. Visit cardtpconnect.org.
And now for regional news. Attorneys General, prosecutors, and security experts from across the Caribbean met in Barbados this week for a legal forum on fighting financial crime and recovering illicit assets. The two-day event, hosted by Barbados Attorney General's Office with the RSS and IDB under the One Caribbean program, focused on creating a regional legal framework for joint investigation teams. The initiative aims to strengthen cooperation, information sharing, and cross-border investigations to better combat organized crime and financial offenses across the region. Regional stakeholders gathered in Rodney Bay, St. Lucia, from April 21 to 24, 2026, for an implementation alignment workshop aimed at advancing green and blue economy projects across the Caribbean. The workshop, organized under projects implemented by GIZ in collaboration with CARICOM, brought together representatives from governments, regional institutions, technical and vocational training organizations, marine protected areas, business support agencies, the private sector, and civil society. The project focuses on strengthening skills development, sustainable livelihoods, youth employment, entrepreneurship, and marine-based businesses across St. Lucia, Grenada, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Participants engage in working sessions and thematic roundtables to identify skills gaps, regional implementation challenges, and priority pilot activities. Organizers said the workshop also helped strengthen coordination among regional and national stakeholders to ensure green and blue economy initiatives deliver practical benefits to communities across the Caribbean. Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, says the government will provide assistance to vendors affected by the transition period during ongoing works at the Castries Vendor Arcade. In an official video news release issued by the Office of the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister explained that support will be made available following an assessment of the impact the transition has had on vendors operating in the area. The government says the assistance forms part of its commitment to supporting small business owners and vendors as redevelopment works continue at the Castries Vendor Arcade.
Some form of financial support will be given to vendors who meet the requirements for that level of support. I want to assure the vendors that the government will always see about the benefit of the people. The government will maintain that the people of St. Lucia must come first. And very shortly, an announcement will be made on the level of support that will be given to the vendors involved.
And unfortunately, some sad news coming from St. Lucia. A young mother, identified as Joy St. Omer, was shot and killed in Marigot, St. Lucia, in a tragic incident that has sparked national outrage and renewed discussions about violence against women. Police say St. Omer was found with multiple gunshot wounds inside a vehicle on Wednesday evening. Authorities later confirmed that a male suspect, identified as her estranged husband, surrendered to police and remains in custody as investigations continue. Officials also confirmed that an active protection order had been in place against the suspect at the time of the killing, and that there were no ongoing court matter involving alleged breaches of that order. Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre and several government ministers have since expressed condolences and called for stronger national efforts to address domestic violence and improve protection for vulnerable individuals.
I'm deeply saddened and disturbed by the tragic loss of Joy St. Omer, whose life was taken in an act of violence yesterday. This is a heartbreaking situation, which is ever more painful for the family, loved ones, and the young child left behind. On behalf of the government of St. Lucia and the people of St. Lucia, I extend sincere condolences to all who are grieving at this devastating loss. Too often, disagreements and emotional pain end in violence when they should end in conversation, dialogue, understanding, and peaceful resolution. Every woman, every person deserves to feel safe in the country. Every family deserves peace. Acts of violence must be met with accountability and justice, because no family should have to endure that kind of pain. We respect the separation of powers, but we hope that the people who take these decisions are not mute to what's happening in the society generally. Government will continue to strengthen prevention, justice, and rehabilitation.
The incident has triggered widespread grief across St. Lucia, with youth organizations and members of the public calling for urgent action to combat gender-based violence. And finally, in regional news, Grenada officially launched its inaugural Flower and Garden Festival, Grenada in Bloom, during a distinguished reception in London hosted by the Governor-General, Cecile Le Grenade. The festival, scheduled for November 8 to 15 in Grenada, was unveiled during the 2026 RHS Chelsea Flower Show, where Grenada once again received international recognition for its award-winning floral exhibit. The launch brought together tourism officials, business leaders, members of the diaspora, UK-based media, and tour operators and staff of the Grenada High Commission. In a keynote address, Dame Cecile described the festival as more than an exhibition, calling it an ecosystem of ideas that connects culture, sustainability, tourism, innovation, and investment. She highlighted Grenada's success at Chelsea as a reflection of the country's creativity, pride, and potential to transform international recognition into economic opportunities, particularly in floriculture, essential oils, botanical products, exotic foods, and wellness industries. Chairman of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Mr. Randall Doland, officially launched the festival with a premiere video presentation, while Grenada's High Commissioner praised the nation's flora as a living expression of the island's identity. The event also promoted Grenada Diaspora Homecoming 2026, scheduled for June 21 to July 5, with calls for Grenadians abroad to return home and contribute through investment, innovation, and partnership. The inaugural Grenada in Bloom Festival is expected to showcase Grenada's botanical beauty, cultural richness, and creative spirit to the international community. And that's all for regional news this evening. Stay tuned for international news coming up next. And now for international news. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced plans to send an additional 5,000 troops to Poland, raising new questions about America's military strategy in Europe. The move comes just 1 week after Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth paused planned troop developments to Poland and other European countries over concerns about defense spending by some allies. Trump said his decision was influenced by his relationship with Poland's newly elected president, Karol Nawrocki. However, Polish officials say the deployment may not significantly increase the roughly 10,000 U.S. troops already stationed there. The announcement has sparked debate within NATO as Poland remains a key hub for Western military support to Ukraine following Russia's 2022 invasion. Also in international news, protesters set fire to an Ebola treatment facility in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo after tensions erupted over the handling of a victim's body. Officials say relatives of a young man who died from Ebola tried to remove the body from Warampara Hospital after being denied access, leading to clashes that sparked a fire and destroyed 2 treatment tents. Authorities say the outbreak involves the deadly Bundibugyo strain of Ebola, which has no specific vaccine or treatment. At least 160 deaths are believed linked to the outbreak in Ituri province. Health officials are also warning against misinformation on social media, saying it could fuel fear and mistrust of medical workers. And finally, hundreds of activists who were a part of a flotilla attempting to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza Strip have arrived in Turkey after being deported from Israel. The activists claimed they were subjected to abuse while being held in Israeli detention following the interception of the aid flotilla. The mission was aimed at bringing humanitarian assistance to Gaza amid the ongoing crisis in the territory. Several activists spoke out after arriving in Turkey, alleging mistreatment during the detention, while international attention continues to focus on the humanitarian situation in Gaza. And that's all for international news this evening. Stay tuned for the sports segment coming up next.
New game in town. Get ready to match 5 and you can win 10K. Let's go. Play with just $2. Match 5 numbers from 1 to 29 to win. Draws every Wednesday and Saturday at 9 p.m. It's easy, fun, and local. Match 5, your local jackpot game. Dominican National Lottery.
Welcome to the sports segment. Dominica's young chess players have returned home after competing at the 15th Pan American Chess Championship under 7 to under 17 held in Sonsonate, El Salvador from May 12 to 18, 2026. The Dominican delegation, the largest from the English-speaking Caribbean, featured 4 players competing in the 9-round classical tournament, as well as rapid and blitz events. In the under-17 absolute category, Lucas Sorrendo improved from 48th to 43rd place after securing a win, 2 draws, and a bye to finish with 3 points. Shamel Timothy, competing in the under-17 female category, earned a draw against Aruba's Grace Motwani and finished with 1.5 points. In the under-15 absolute division, Jarius Hippolyte, who entered the competition unrated, secured a draw against an Ecuadorian opponent and finished with 1.5 points. He also earned a forfeit win in the blitz competition. Kenji Del Sol competed in the under-13 category and managed a draw in blitz competition against a player from El Salvador. Team officials said the tournament provided valuable international exposure and highlighted the players' growing potential despite entering most categories seeded near the bottom. The team also expressed gratitude to sponsors including Central Cooperative Credit Union Limited, National Bank of Dominica Limited, Dominica Olympic Committee, and Astafans for supporting the trip. Castleboro Secondary School, CBSS, secured a commanding 123-run victory over Portsmouth Secondary School, PSS, in the 2026 Secondary Schools Under-15 Cricket Championship at Jolly John Park. After winning the toss, CBSS posted 155 runs all out, with Camilo Lucian top scoring with 23 runs, while Dejan Benjamin and Dorente Auguste contributed 15 runs each. For PSS, Alison Joseph impressed with the ball, taking 4 wickets for 26 runs. Nasio Paul claimed 2 for 26, while Liam Peter finished with 2 for 38. In response, PSS were bowled out for just 32 runs. Nasio Paul scored 10 runs in the innings. CBSS bowlers dominated, with Camilo Lucian producing an outstanding spell of 6 wickets for 8 runs, while Dorente Auguste supported with 4 wickets for 17 runs to steal the emphatic win. And cricket fans are in for an exciting weekend as the 2026 NCCU DCA Premier League continues with a thrilling doubleheader across Dominica. Let's hear from Kimara Ito.
The excitement continues in the 2026 NCCU DCA Premier League this weekend, with another thrilling doubleheader set for Saturday 23rd May and Sunday 24th May. Cricket fans are invited to the Botanic Gardens, where Convenience Plus Maho will battle the Simon Kalinago Blasters in what promises to be an exciting contest. Meanwhile, at Benjamin's Park, Tremors will face off against Najiko Northern Star Sports Club as both teams look to secure valuable points in the competition. Matches bowl off at 1 p.m. on Saturday and continue on Sunday from 10 a.m. Fans, supporters, and cricket lovers are encouraged to come out and support their teams while enjoying another weekend of competitive Premier League cricket.
Supporters are being encouraged to come out and cheer on their teams as the battle for Premier League glory heats up. And news from the NBA. The New York Knicks are now just 2 wins away from the NBA Finals after beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 109-93 in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Josh Hart scored a playoff career high of 26 points, while Jalen Brunson added 19 points and 14 assists as New York took a 2-0 series lead. The Knicks' defense has also stood out, holding opponents under 100 points in several playoff games. In the West, the conference finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and San Antonio Spurs are tied 1-1 ahead of Game 3 tonight. Victor Wembanyama and rookie Stephen Castle continued to shine for San Antonio, while MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander aims to put Oklahoma City back in control. Only 4 teams remain in the hunt for the 2026 NBA Championship. And that's all for the sports segment this evening. Stay tuned for the weather report coming up next.
Hello, good day, and welcome to our weather broadcast for today, Friday, May 22nd. I am your presenter, Annie Coretta Joseph. Let's begin by taking a look at the surface analysis. And out in the central Atlantic is a westward moving tropical wave. Now, as we take a look at the satellite imagery, we can see the cloudiness associated with this wave. And this wave is expected to move across mainly the southern section of the Lesser Antilles by Sunday into Monday. Across the Lesser Antilles, especially the central and northern islands, some unstable conditions continue to maintain some cloudy skies throughout the course of the day. As we zoom in on Dominica, we continue to see this Mid to high level clouds moving to the east associated with an upper level jet. At the low levels, we have some low level clouds moving towards the islands, and these clouds are expected to maintain cloudy skies during the course of this afternoon and tonight. Radar imagery indicated some scattered showers moving towards the islands, and increasing shower activity is expected during the afternoon and tonight. Now let's take a look at some Saharan dust. During the course of the weekend on Sunday, we expect to see some increase in Saharan dust. As we move into Monday, a significant increase in Saharan dust is expected, especially across the islands south of Dominica. People with respiratory sensitivities, those venturing out marinas, you are advised to exercise caution. Now let's take a look at conditions for tonight. Cloudy to overcast skies with scattered showers. Some of the showers are expected to be moderate to heavy at times. Persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and fallen rocks, you are advised to remain alert and exercise caution. Winds generally out of the east, some breezy conditions, peaking to near 40 kilometers per hour with higher gusts. Temperatures expected to be down to about 22 degrees Celsius along the coast and even cooler in the interior. Tomorrow, Saturday, the day will begin with some scattered showers during the morning. Some improvement in showers or reduction in shower activity can be expected as the day progresses. However, as we move into the evening, a significant increase in shower activity is once again expected. Some could be moderate to heavy at times. These showers are expected to extend into Sunday and Monday. There is a slight chance for some isolated thunderstorms on Sunday evening and during the day on Monday. As a result, persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks, you are advised to maintain caution, be alert, and keep updated. Temperatures on Saturday to peak near 31 degrees Celsius along the coast and about 30 on the eastern and even cooler in the interior. On Sunday, peaking to near about 30 degrees Celsius on the west coast and cooler on the eastern interior. And on Monday, daytime highs to be near 29 degrees Celsius along the west coast. Nights to cool to near 22 degrees Celsius. Throughout the next 3 days, some breezy conditions expected to continue. Winds peaking near 35 kilometers per hour with higher gusts, generally out of the east. Marine conditions for the next 3 days. Seas to peak near 7 feet on the east coast, 5 feet on the west coast. Mariners, you are advised to continue to exercise caution. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:34 a.m. and set at 6:30 p.m. Our high tides will be at 9:03 a.m. and 10:17 p.m., while the low tides will be at 2:52 a.m. and 3:49 p.m. For up-to-date information, you can scan this QR code and follow our WhatsApp channel. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Dominica Met, and also our website at weather.gov.dm. Thank you for viewing, and join us next week for your next weather broadcast. Good day.
And this brings us to the end of tonight's news broadcast for the 22nd of May, 2026. I'm your presenter, Rick Francis, and on behalf of the entire newscast, we say thank you for viewing. This has been Emo Nightly News, every moment online. Have a good night.